All right, I have today with me a vacuum that I kind of always wanted as a kid. Not this specific version, but there is no difference between this machine and any of the other models that they slapped a different paint job and a different logo on the front. This is my new, to me, Eureka Smart Vac. Now, this vacuum cleaner screams late 90s, early 2000s. The curvy nozzle on it, the round wheels, the lettering and everything. It's almost like a weird identity crisis with the font that they chose, like for the true HEPA, and some of the hard plastic hose. But you've got to also think to yourself, this is probably one of Eureka's first tries at a clean air upright. So I got this from a Salvation Army, as you can see, with my friend who lives down where near where I am doing an assignment. And lucky for them, they've got at least 4 or 5 Salvation Armies, and they also have Goodwills, and you can find a surplus of vacuum cleaners down there. And I thought that this thing was neat. It's kind of like a piece of history, but also a piece of history of when I was a kid. Now, I don't remember this vacuum cleaner debuting. I don't remember there were commercials. I don't even remember seeing these on a store shelf. But I do remember seeing the Eureka Whirlwind Dust Cup models in magazines. And I also remember seeing it next to the Dyson DC-07. I don't know if that was a Sears catalog or what it was, but I do remember seeing a yellow Dyson DC-07, and I remember seeing a black and yellow Eureka Whirlwind. Now, also, when I was a kid, I used to go to a summer recreation program, and a girl that I went to high school with, her mom was a single mom, divorced, but she had a beautiful garage kept with a cover over top, like a 2004 Mustang GT silver with convertible top. It was a beautiful car. And one day when I was walking to summer recreation, I remember seeing a Eureka that looked just like this, except it was like a periwinkle blue, and it just said Eureka the Boss on it, and it was not as funky with its design on the bag door itself. So you can see I paid $20 for this on the 8th of January. I think it was put out the same day I bought it. Now, what they say considers this a smart vac is the headlight, onboard tools, true HEPA, back saver handle, and a 15-inch wide cleaning path, which at today's standards, no longer can you really find a 15-inch cleaning path vacuum. Nobody really designs their handles to be ergonomic anymore. Oryx's done that for years, claiming their arthritis handle, but again, onboard tools is pretty standard. You're hard-pressed to find headlights half the time. It's 50-50, and onboard tools is pretty much standard. So it's just kind of funny to see some of this stuff being like sought-after features. And this was not the only smart vac available during the time. If you look at the smart vac commercials, they had the bagged upright smart vacs, the bagless upright smart vacs. They had a smart vac canister, and they all have this silver paint job, which reminds me of the Panasonic Performance Plus Platinum that I had. It's a beautiful speckly silver paint, but again, screams early 2000s. This also features what they say true HEPA sealed vacuum filtration. And it does have a large gasketed HEPA filter on the back. I was very surprised at how complete this vacuum is. It's missing nothing. It has its combination tool. It has a crevice tool. It has its extension wand. There is a little paint transfer in spots. And I think there might be just a few scuffs right here on the rear of the vacuum. But from what I've seen, a lot of the time the handle release tends to go on these. This one's perfectly fine. Here is the HEPA filter that's actually pretty clean. Big gasket on it, but also it's claimed to be HEPA sealed, but this tab is like, it's continuous into the gasket, though this is hard plastic here. I'm sure it's not completely sealed. This is kind of a pain to pop back on here. And this apparently takes AA bags and Style U belts. I don't know how to date this, but it says the Eureka Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Oh, I'm not really showing it, am I? Type A, model 4469, and the serial number, which I'm going to guess might mean that it's a 1999 model. So this thing is pushing 23 years old. Do I have that right? Yeah, 23 years old? No, 22, 23 years old, yeah. So that's pretty good. I mean, for these being the cheapo vacs of the time, honestly, it's pretty solid. It's not lightweight chintzy like some of the other machines. Like, this is probably built to very similar of today's standards for their high-end vacuums that you can purchase. But, I mean, it's solid. It doesn't make any creaking sounds. All you can hear is the wheels that jiggle when I lift the vacuum up abruptly like that. But, I mean, the machine itself is extremely solid for, you know, today's standards. The brush roll is still in really good shape and very clean. The height adjustment works on it as well. I think I have it on the low pile. Yes. So this is on low pile here, right there. It does have a carry handle. I'll show you the bag door. We'll take it for a quick spin. This thing is not the quietest vacuum, but it's not like obnoxiously loud either. This doesn't want to come undone. There we go. So even the inside, I mean, the inside is really not that dirty. It's got some fine dust, but it's not as bad as it could be. It's actually in really good shape. Very simple design. Even the pre-motor filter is really not that dirty. This, to me, seems very much like somebody's secondary vacuum. And there is a gasket around the bag door. But it seems very much like somebody's secondary vacuum. And or I could see somebody buying this for their elderly mother or father or something like that who they upgraded the vacuum for them to use and they didn't think anything of it. I'm just trying to think of like living back in the days where this thing would have been new in a box. The other thing, this has a non-stretch hose. I mean, it does have some give to it, but it's just a cheapy hose. But it has all of its attachments. It's really missing nothing. And it's been a long time since I've seen a vacuum that doesn't have a cord release. I can think of the times that I've seen people advertise that the vacuum has a cord release, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, that's not really even anything spectacular. That's pretty standard for today's vacuums, but it does have a short cord on it as well. And I have not cleaned this up at all. It is just the way that it is. I'm not a huge fan, but I know that this vacuum was not abused, and I'm sure it came from a pretty clean home. So we will recline it. And the power switch on these is located on the side. I'm not sure if the bagless machines were too. I'm not a huge fan of the design. And I've got a feeling that this is going to be too low. So here we go. So the wind down is actually pretty smooth. I'm curious if anybody knows if that's the normal sound for these. The brush roll sounds great. It did a really good job grooming the carpet, which I'm surprised, because often I find vacuums that have a large or a wide cleaning path tend to almost like distribute their weight differently depending on how the height adjustment is set up. And especially when you have it set on low pile and the height adjustment's really not doing much, it's really just keeping the vacuum from it's hard to explain. But I always find that vacuums with wider cleaning paths tend to not make good contact with the carpet for some reason. Even with the height adjustment design, with like those dual wheels there in the front that kind of raise and lower the vacuum. But the motor does sound a little dry, if you ask me. I don't know if that's just how these were. It's very possible. It's not like people really were reading vacuum cleaner reviews back then and were really going to easily have access to information of people saying, oh, well, it sounds really bad or it runs really rough, don't buy it, so, but it did a really good job just in those couple swaths that I just cleaned. A lot better than even some more expensive vacuum cleaners, that you can purchase today. Honestly, I think that this thing did a better job grooming than the Hoover Wind Tunnel Max bagged upright that I have or had that I sent back. And I didn't put a new belt on this. It's the belt that it came with. It didn't struggle on the carpet at all. My only concern is the motor. And I believe people said that these did pass a lot of dust through the motor, so it's very possible that they just get dirty and messed up. So I would love to know what you guys think about the motor, if that's typical, if it's not. Again, it's in really good condition, and for being a cheap vacuum, had I bought this, if I were old enough to have been able to buy this vacuum cleaner new, I probably would have been pretty satisfied with the way that it cleans. The suction is really not bad. I guess we can flip her on and test it out, but it's going to be noisy. I really think it's just the vibration from the cleaner head that's making it sound kind of rough. I think I had it on the just right setting, one notch below the lowest. For this vacuum, right about there was perfect. And I mean, it did a really good job. That's pretty impressive grooming wise. That's a very, even look at that. Where I wheeled the vacuum back around there, you can see like that indentation in the carpet. I'm actually pretty impressed with this. Filtration's probably not the greatest. I'm sure that you can find better bags for it, and I'm wondering if it just needs maybe, what does that say? If performance decreases, change bag and or filter. I'm wondering if it just needs some tightening down or something like that, but overall I felt like this was a really good find, and this is just one of those cheap vacuums that I don't necessarily think I would get rid of. It's more of just having it for the nostalgia and having something in such good shape for its age. So let me know what you guys think, and also please somebody let me know about the motor sounding the way that it does. It could just be the way that these motors were, but I really think half the problem is the vibration of the cleaner head itself. So thanks for watching.